Greetings, Twitter. X. Wanted to take this opportunity to go live with you guys tonight. I originally tried to start this at 7, but then I didn't realize that I had my streaming equipment misconfigured, and I thought I was going live when I was not. But I wanted to go live today because I wanted to talk a little bit with you guys. I haven't been on here in a while, basically. And when I got on Twitter today earlier, and to my surprise, I found out that I was blocked by a certain individual. And it was kind of, to me, in the moment, it was kind of surprising because I had not commented back at this individual since November 3rd. Matter of fact, my last live tweet where I talked about him was on September 25th. And I don't think I had replied to anything of his in that time frame. I got on when I got home, and my routine is I usually go through all the news medias, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, Associated Press. Sometimes I'll go into Fox News and Newsmax, but I try to avoid them whenever possible because I try to basically review all the different news medias and then draw my own general consensus of the news of what's going on. I don't rely on one specific news media because, as you know, like with the conservative media such as Newsmax, OANN, Fox, I don't want to say they're skewered, but they tend to talk more about, okay, the Democrats did this wrong. The Democrats did this other thing wrong. Oh, Biden sucks. Biden's presidency is weak. Biden this, Biden that. It's kind of geared more to attack the liberal parties or the liberal individuals rather than create a neutral, or shall we say a impartial feed of news, So I do that, and there was a couple of articles that I caught my eye in. I believe it was the Texas Tribune, because I do newspapers as well. I do the Tribune. I'll do Associated Press. Sometimes I'll do USA Today. Sometimes I'll do, whatever it comes to me, the Houston Chronicle, because I live here in Houston. And I read these articles. Now, there was one article that caught my attention with respect to Texas State Attorney General Ken Paxton, and that's the individual that blocked me. And it was the fact that he requested that the whistleblower lawsuit be paused because he thinks that the whistleblowers, they acted too hastily in wanting to restart the lawsuit, and he is still trying to secure the funding from the legislature. Now, I don't know how he plans to do that, given that he can only request it during a regular session, and the next regular session is January of 2025. So I don't know how, honestly, he's going to go about doing this, And I don't think a judge is going to want to pause the lawsuit for that amount of time. I mean, I don't know. But the thing was, I was looking into that, and then I also, back on November 3rd, there was a post that was made by, I believe, it was made by Attorney General Ken Paxton. He was endorsing or encouraging people to vote for Tony Buzbee in District Position G in Houston. And I found it kind of odd. I found it kind of amusing because I'm like, okay, this guy defended Ken Paxton, yet Ken Paxton is now basically endorsing the guy to run for this position. And I thought it was amusing. And in response, I posted three little words, and they were not even words. It was Latin. I posted quid pro quo, And for any of you guys that know what quid pro quo means, it basically means, okay, layman's definition, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, tit for tat. So, I was having fun because I was like, okay, this sounds like a quid pro quo. Well, that was on November 3rd. We are November 8th today. And I find out that he blocked me off his personal Twitter, which, I'm not going to fight it because, that's not my style. That's not my forte. He doesn't want me to see his personal feed. That's fine. But it did leave me questioning and suspecting things because I started thinking and I was like, okay, well, why would he block me? Why would this? And I was like, well, what was the last thing that I said? And I kept going back to that post on November 3rd. And I was like, okay, I made a conclusion in my mind. And I said, okay, if it was because of quid pro quo, what in those 3 words set him off? And I was like, unless there's more to the story between him endorsing Busby and Busby defending him in the impeachment. Which, if that is the case, that would raise a lot of suspicions because that would be considered a quid pro quo and it could be incriminating to both individuals. I'm thinking that may be the reason why. Now, but there's another reason that I think he may have done it, and that's why I'm in doubt as to what the story is behind him blocking not only myself, but he's blocked a number of individuals as based on the complaints that I saw on some of his other tweets on his official Attorney General Twitter account. And the other supposition that I came up with is that, was because I read another story where he requested from a certain judge, Republican judge, who in a county where one of the whistleblowers resides in, he requested that judge pause the lawsuit while he tries to obtain the funds to pay these guys the $3 million. And I'm wondering if maybe he put the kibosh on his personal Twitter to avoid the backlash that he would have entailed for doing such a thing. Especially from the whistleblowers, especially from those that were left with a sour taste in their mouth with respect to the impeachment that he was acquitted. It's possible. Highly likely. If that's the case, then he was trying to avoid a backlash. Now, here's the deal. You can avoid that backlash hitting you in your own Twitter feed, but that's not going to stop the backlash from arriving or appearing in social media because of the fact that, I can post a comment on his Twitter just as I could do the live like I'm doing now, or post a comment on my Twitter in respect and hashtag. So either way, it goes out over the media. It's just not going to be pointed directly at him as it would be with a regular Twitter reply on his Twitter feed. So he's not. He's basically diverting, or he's basically trying to avoid the backlash, which he probably won't. That's the way I see it, if that were the case. So it's a number of things that make it questionable. I don't know why he did it. I don't think I said anything, to aggravate him, because, as I said, I have not really been active on Twitter with him directly. I believe the last live tweet that I did with respect to him was with his impeachment back on September 25th. And I have not said anything yet. I have commented though on my layman's or logistical point of views of the lawsuits that he has been dealing with. which was with the lawsuit with respect to the razor wire, because he filed another lawsuit where he's suing the government to stop cutting the razor wire, the federal government. Now, all I did was I spoke of and I explained what I thought would be the logical procedure for the Department of Justice to reciprocate, because the Department of Justice has two different options. I believe at this point, they can either appeal the injunction with the same judge where it was filed, or they can appeal it through the Fifth Circuit Appeals Court, where they have the original lawsuit that they're fighting right now with respect to the border. And my opinion in that response was that I believe that it's in the best interest of the DOJ to respond to it through the appeals court. I'm talking about a legal procedure, what viable options that they have. Now, I'm not. In that particular instance, I did not badmouth. I did not criticize the Attorney General in any way, shape, or form. So I'm at a loss as to why, if that would create an offense with him, because I'm just making an observation not as an attorney, but as a layman who visualizes and sees the lawsuit, and based on my assumption of the laws, what the next logical steps may or may not be. Okay, so unless he took offense to that, which I don't understand why he would. He's an attorney. He should know what a layman's perspective of the law is versus an attorney. He could have very clearly responded back and said, "Oh, well, you're wrong, based on this precept or this legal standard or whatever." To which I would have said, "Okay," I would have probably reviewed it and I would say, "Okay, yeah, you are correct," and it would have been, that would have been that, but there was no response to it. I made my observation on that topic, and that was it. As I got on today, it clearly says you have been blocked by Ken Paxton, Texas. So I'm not going to fight with him. I am not going to argue with him on that, because it's not worth my time and my energy. If he wants, and I hope that he would take the opportunity to watch this live feed, whether he is watching it live or he watches it pre-recorded. But I would hope that he would watch this and he would hear me out and understand where I'm coming from. And if he would be more than welcome to respond to this live feed in my comments. I will not block him. I'm not that type of person that I will not. Unless there is an extreme reason or concern, I would not block anybody. Because I'm not. My comments are not comments to offend or to, attack any specific individual, organization, or entity. Mine is basically giving an open concept, an open point of view, open opinion, because I believe in this day and age that our society is so politically energized, and to be honest with you, that it's few are the people that are able to and are willing to give an objective opinion, not based on either side of the political spectrum. And that's where, give me 1 minute. That's where I stand. I have tried to be as impartial, nonpartisan as I can. I do not want to get involved with either of the parties directly, because everything is so politically overcharged right now that, it would only contaminate myself as an individual And I do not want to do that. Plain and simple. Well, this is where I was coming with on this, was that I was surprised that he blocked me. I don't know how long he'll keep me blocked. That's up to him. I'm not going to worry about it. I've got other fish to fry on Twitter. Pardon the phrase, or other avenues to journey on Twitter, and I'm not going to concern myself with the mentality of an individual who, I don't understand why he does what he does. I'm not criticizing the Attorney General. He is a good man. There are things that he has done that I agree with, but there's a lot of stuff that he's done that I have questioned. And I've questioned because of the logistics and the things that I've seen. And as a citizen of the state of Texas, I believe that to a certain extent, I have the right to question what one of my elected officials is doing, to a certain extent. And that's kind of what I do. I don't play political favorites, because my views as far as a lot of these topics that are being contaminated by the today's political society, my views are a little bit different and can be constrained or can be viewed as anti this or anti that or pro this, pro that. And that's not necessarily my objective. My objective is to see what is morally correct or medically correct or whatever the case may be is it's viable. Because there's a lot of stuff that's happened that I think could have been done or handled better in that respect. But I'm not going to get into all that stuff. It's not a good assessment of time. Well, thank you for your attention and time. I know I've been rambling for the last 17 minutes, but I wanted to talk about this and let you guys know what's been going on. I will probably go live again here shortly. There's other topics that I want to talk about. I'm reading right now as we speak. I'm going to try to get to them if I can today. If not, it will be tomorrow. But I wanted to at least touch on this because I found this kind of, I don't want to say alarming, but concerning, amusing. And, I didn't know what to make of it. Like I said, I came across and drew two different conclusions. I don't know if those are correct, if one of them is or one of them is not, or if they're either are correct. But only time will tell. Whatever it was, I assume if Ken Paxton wanted to be secret about it and wanted to hide it and block people, that whatever that was, eventually it will come to light, whether he wants it to or not. And it's a matter of time. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to let it all play out on its own, and then we'll see in the end, what goes on, where he stands, where I stand, where Texans stand on these things. In the meantime, have a good evening, and I will see you all guys hopefully shortly, or if not, tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Have a good night.